Before we look at the weekly insurance registration numbers, we can see that Nio had these new updates on their new second generation mobile phone. You know that last year they launched their first gen mobile phones, and this year it's gonna be the second gen. I don't think the volumes is gonna be, in the hundreds of thousands, maybe at best in 100,000. But this is not, in the millions right now. So this is a small business, but I think it's gonna burn a lot of money in the beginning. Let's see if they manage to sell more to, other consumers and customers that are not car buyers. So I think it would be great if they manage to establish a footing in the phone industry. Maybe, even 1 million sales is gonna, make the loss a lot less for Nio. Other than that, they launched their home developed 5 nanometer AD chip, and it's according to the CEO, the Lee Bin, it's just been taped out. So we should see these new chips for advanced driving systems, in the new cars, I guess, soon. And lastly, they also mentioned about the new Sky OS update. So essentially, this is the OS and the user interface that you see on the big tablet screen in the Nio and all the other, infotainment solutions. So that's good. Nio is, as we've seen previously, they invest a lot of money on R&D, and that's not gonna, become less. Nio is really heavy on R&D, so that's part of the reasons why they make, such a big loss compared to the others, despite having fairly good delivery numbers now. But then let's see, the weekly insurance registration number. So we can see that Nio had, I think, 5,400 now. So yeah, 5,400, which is good. We are well above 4,500, 5,000. So the green trend line there you can see for Nio is, hovering around 5,000. So I think this is really good. At this rate, we're gonna have another good month of around 20,000, maybe more. You remember that there's still 3 working days that are not been reported yet. So those are yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So the 29th, 30th, and 31st of July. So I think that's gonna be possible to beat that 20, maybe 21 or 22,000 numbers. Very good for Nio. Xpeng still struggling. You see that Xpeng, not looking good at all. It's been this way. If you look actually Xpeng on row 3 there, you can see that, it's been, in the 1,500 range to 2,500 range for a long time now. Xpeng, very difficult. And as we will see, with some legacy automotive manufacturers also struggling lately, as the electric vehicle sales start to get a really, percentage-wise good footing in the market. Those legacy manufacturers that are not offering nice electric solutions, like for example, a certain big company that used to, or usually the biggest manufacturer on the planet in terms of cars, Toyota, their sales decreased 18%. Think about that. Toyota sales decreased 18% compared to last year. This company is gonna run into a lot of troubles. You might say this is a one-off. What happens if, we come here next year and there's the same kind of, 10-15% decrease compared to this year? So I think, we're at the beginning of the stage where the competition will be less, because some of the companies are simply not gonna make it. Not all of these. I'll just look at Tesla, Nio, Xpeng, LiAuto, BYD, and sometimes at AuTo. And you can see that on the CNEV news, they have a bunch of others, they have Zeekr, they have Dipal, they have Densa, and so many more. And there's so much, the legacy automotives like Volvo, Mercedes, BMW, everyone is competing. But at some point, you would see, some of the weaker hands essentially leaving the game. So I think my bet is that Nio is one of those that's gonna stay there. And I think, these delivery numbers of 20,000 a month is really good. And this is again before this uptick that I projected in the blue bars. Remember, the green bars are for last year. I think, when the Onvo system, the second, brand, a bit cheaper brand of Nio goes online in, let's say, Q3 late, maybe September or October, we could see 5 to 10,000 deliveries by end of this year, additional to the, Nio one. So nothing to worry about there on Nio. We can see that also one good data here, that this handle on Twitter, Cash Investments, says that this is what we call domination, because according to this data, Nio is outselling every single manufacturer in EVs when it comes to 300,000 yuan price range. So anything above that, Nio is first by a quite large distance. You can see that Nio is essentially more than everyone else on the list combined, which includes BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Lexus, Volvo, and Porsche. So yeah, I think like Nio is doing really well right now. Mentioned that Toyota has been in big trouble, and this is something that applies to the other legacy manufacturers, but also in the close term, some of the smaller like Xpeng and Densa, if they don't manage to ramp up volume production, because there's no way they're gonna make money on these kind of numbers. Even for Nio, they're still losing money at this rate. They will still lose money at even 7,000 or 8,000 deliveries a month. I think Nio break even is maybe 10,000-12,000 cars, even if that's possible. So yeah, Xpeng is a long way from that. And then, as we mentioned, the phone is phone just launched on the Nio In event a couple of days ago. So everything for Nio, I think looking great. Nothing to worry about. The lithium carbonate price going down. Monthly deliveries looks to be sharp. And as we are essentially at the end of the first month of Q3, I think I'm quite satisfied with my projections of 70,000, because if we get 22,500 now, that would be on average, if we hold that pace, almost 68,000 cars, and that leaves a couple of thousand beat, and I think that's possible. I think that's really possible because of the Onvo, the second brand of Nio that's going to be launched very soon. So with the Onvo brand online, I think some people actually in the comments say that I'm a bit conservative. But again, let's stick to the conservatives and let's see what happens. And the stock price sadly is not doing that great. We know that Nio is in a tough spot, but what could we do about it? Is just to be patient. I think again, this is not investment advice, but I think in my opinion, a company trading at 9 billion market cap is fairly, there's not a lot of room to fall, in my opinion, from this stage. If they hold these kind of numbers, we can see, they should have a revenue for Q2 or Q3 at around, for Q3 at around 3 billion. Let's even go with 2.8 to 2.9, which would be a record. That kind of number gives you our average annual run rate of 12 to 15 billion US dollars. So I think for Nio, everything looks good. Stock price is a bit difficult, but this is a long-term investment. The only important thing for me now, once I see Q2 report, is to see how much loss they make, net loss. Hopefully that goes down from 718 million in the Q1. If we go below 600, maybe mid 500s, and then see a projection to, let's say, below 500 for Q3, and maybe in the 300 range in Q4, I think we are finally start to see the great potential of the company. I think the market wants to see this one. Most people think that the vehicle delivery is important, but I think the problem with Nio has been their margins and net loss. If the net loss goes down to, let's say, mid 300s by Q4, then they have enough money to survive for many years, and that would give confidence to the stock price, I think. But let's wait and see. So thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe, and remember that AMD has their earnings report today and Intel tomorrow. So I'll definitely make a video about AMD today. So thank you for watching and see you in the next one.